Today we're learning King of Kings by Hillsong United. Welcome back, friends. It's Jake with Guitar Gym Pro. If you're new here, subscribe for more songs, skills, and fun. Let's get into it. In the darkness we were waiting, without hope, without light, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes, to fulfill the law and prophet. To a virgin came the word, from a throne of endless glory to a cradle in the dirt. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. To reveal the kingdom coming and to reconcile the lost, to reveal the whole creation. You did not despise the cross, for even in your suffering you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus, for our sake you died. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. And the moment that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, till that stone was moved for good, for the Lamb had conquered death. And the dead rose from their tombs, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who've come to the Father are restored. And the church of Christ was born, and the Spirit lit the flame. Now this gospel truth of old shall not kneel and shall not faint. By His blood and in His name and in His freedom I am free. For the name of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Before I break down the 3 sections you need to learn to play King of Kings, if you're struggling to build a solid foundation on guitar, I want to give you a gift. It's my Gateway to Guitar course, absolutely free. There'll be a link in the description. I want to get you set up and playing guitar confidently. Now, let's dive into the song. There's really only 3 sections we have. We have the intro, which comes up again and again as a musical interlude. We have the verse, and then we have the chorus. I want to start with the verse progression because the intro has a little bit more going on to it. So we'll come back to that in a minute. So starting with the verse, we're going to start with a G over B chord. It's just like whatever G chord you've always played, except for we're not doing anything on the 6th string. And then we go to a C chord, and you'll see me use this C add 9, which looks just like a G chord, only I've moved my 1st and 2nd finger to strings 5 and 4. And sometimes I'll play a regular old C. Both are going to sound great in this song, so dealer's choice, whichever way you like to play it. The next chord is going to be a D chord. You can play this a couple ways. The standard D you've always known and loved. There's a D sus chord where we put our pinky down on 3rd fret of the thinnest string in front of our middle finger on that same D chord, and it can sound good to go back and forth between those two sometimes throughout the song. The other D chord I'll play is sort of like a D6-9 situation where I just take my C chord and I slide it up 2 frets and I let the G and the E strings ring open. And I think that's really pretty, and it can break it up a little bit. The last chord I'm going to play is just a standard G major, though a lot of times I won't even use my 1st finger there. I just let my middle finger mute the 5th string, and I play a G5 chord, but it's functioning like a G chord. So the verse, we start off with this G over B, the next chord is a C, then we go to our D, and then we go to a G. Now, often when I'm playing with a band or I'm playing with a bass player, I'm not going to be worried about playing a G over B, that B, and leaving out the G note on the bottom. However, because this song has 4 chords in the verse and one of them is G over B and the 4th one is G, to give it some variation, I try to use the G over B and the G chord here. The first line is in the darkness, and that first chord, in the darkness, it comes in right on darkness. We were waiting is the C chord, without hope is the D, without light is the G. And then we repeat that over and over again. And those chords each last the same amount of time. If we're doing a 4 count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're changing chords on 1 and 3 of that 4 count. The chorus is a little bit more interesting, but it's still pretty simple. We're going to start with a G chord on Praise the Father. Praise the Father. And then we go to a C chord. Praise the Son. E minor. Praise the Spirit. To a D. 3 in 1. And that can be fun to go to the D sus and then the D. Then we go back to the beginning of that progression. God of glory to the C. Majesty. We go to the E minor, but we're going to do chords changing on 1 and 3 again. Praise for to the C. Ever to the D chord. King of kings. We would go to the G chord where we would be back to playing the intro, which I'm going to teach you now. So to play the intro riff, I'm going to start with my 3rd finger on 3rd fret of the 6th string. Now this is going to be like I was playing a G chord, only instead of putting all my other fingers down to do it, I'm just going to leave my ring finger on that 3rd fret. Now the 5th string is going to come out muted. The pad of my 3rd finger is touching that. So when I strum strings 6 through 4, maybe I'll hit 3, I'm going to get a nice clean chord. I'm going to pluck the 3rd string open twice, then the 4th string open twice, and then I'm going to use my middle finger on 2nd fret of the 3rd string to pluck that twice. So far what we would have is then I'm going to play open 2nd string, 1st fret, back to open on the 2nd string, then I'm going to play open 3rd, and then open on the 4th string. All together, it sounds like this. And you'll see I have my ring finger held down the whole time, letting that note G ring out to give us kind of context for the lick we're playing. That tiny little change, leaving that 3rd finger down instead of playing the notes individually, is what's going to make it sound like we're playing both rhythm and lead as we're starting out this song. When I play the verse, I have about 3 different things I'm doing with my right hand depending on how I'm trying to build the song. The first is I'm just strumming the chords as they change, letting them ring, and that's it. If I'm trying to build it just a little bit, I'm going to either add palm muting, and it would be 4 down strums on each chord, or I'm going to do a little arpeggiated pattern. And all that means is I'm going to pluck the lowest 2 notes of whatever chord I'm on, and then strum the highest notes. You could use one of those every time you get to the verse, and you can experiment with mixing them up as you're playing different verses to give the song kind of an ebb and flow, to really give it some dynamic variety. Most drum patterns that you've played before will work on the chorus, especially our old standbys that have a little bit of syncopation. But what I really like to play for this song is based on 16th notes, which means each beat, 1, 2, 3, and 4, has 4 possible places I can strum. And I count those 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and And I strum down on the numbers and the ands, and I strum up on the E's and the U's. So if I played it straight, it would be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Now, I'm going to strum way less than that when I'm actually playing, but those are my possible strums. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strum on the beats 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to strum on that last up, the So 1, I won't strum on E or and, but up on So it would be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. And then on 4, I'm going to strum a little bit more, probably on the and. And so all together, for the first 2 chords of the chorus, that would sound like this. Praise the Father, praise the Son. And that gives you a really good starting point. Don't feel locked into a strumming pattern as long as you're hitting the new chords on beat 1 or beat 1 and 3 if we're towards the end of the chorus. You're going to sound locked in. And remember, if you need help building a firm foundation as a guitar player, check the link in the description and I will get you free access to my Gateway to Guitar program. And YouTube thinks that you're gonna like this next video. Give it a watch and tell me what you think.